Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you for joining me today with another video looking at another flying lesson. So hopefully you guys and gals are doing amazing. Hopefully you're enjoying the content and what I'm putting out there. I'm really enjoying it, but I do need a bit of your help. Please let me know down in the comments below, what do you want to see more of? So let's take a look at a few of the things that I'm studying right now. Let's take a look, guys and gals, at a few of these things. I don't want to get too complicated, too heavy with this information, but basically I had to memorize this whole chart. What this chart tells me is different types of airspace. In different types of airspace, they're invisible, you can't see them, how far away you have to be from clouds. That's basically it. That's the most that's the best explanation I can give to you. We fly visually. We don't use any type of radar. We use the air traffic control tower and visually looking outside to see if there are other planes around. And so what this does, this gives us a really good way to not get in the way of airliners. Hopefully this is something that, you know, gives you an idea of what I'm looking at this week. This is a Los Angeles sectional chart, guys and gals. Again, there's so much information on these things that it's really crazy. I'm trying to look for LAX, and there it is. So that is Los Angeles International, and this is the airport that I'm flying out of, right there. So LAX here, and then Santa Monica right there. And so it tells you a few things. It tells you things like elevation. This tells you about airspace. This is what we were talking about before. So these little circles designate different areas of airspace. So larger circles are different classes of airspace and so forth. These numbers have to do with elevation. So if you notice these squares here, so I'm pointing out these squares here, this map is divided into squares, tells you the highest elevation in that square, 7,500, and so forth. And so again, I won't go into everything, and you don't need to memorize this chart as an aviator or as a pilot, but you need to be familiar with the legend, basically what it means. You know, this would be another airport, Palm Springs over here. Here's, for example, an airport without a control tower. You can see that in the magenta or the purple color versus a blue one that says that yes, this one has a control tower. So stuff like that. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of what I'm looking at this week as well. So hopefully, guys and gals, this gives you a good idea of the books and the things that I'm looking at. This is all stuff that we talk about in ground, in case, you know, that wasn't clear before. So in ground, I do all the classroom type instruction, and then of course in the plane, it's everything that's applicable. And there's some things in ground that you just talk about a little bit, and then when you actually go fly, you do a lot more of when you're in the plane, like radios. We really didn't go over radios on the ground, but when we're in the plane, we do a lot of radio stuff. So that just gives you an idea. Let's go flying, guys and gals. Now, if you're familiar with my previous videos or my previous lessons, you will see that I do a little bit of time. I do spend some time doing the pre-flight checklist. I'm not going to do that in this video. I'm just going to show a couple highlights, but get right into when I'm inside the plane with my instructor Sam, and we're going over the checklist right before we start the engine. The other stuff you can see in the previous videos, and maybe I'll do a little bit of a review and a follow-up in upcoming video.
Parking brake on, brakes pop, rudder pedals fine, master on. Off, okay, good. Fuel selector full as tank, so we got 13 and 11s. Clear prop! Gauge brakes.
Now, if you look at my previous lessons, guys and gals, in my past videos, you're going to see that one of my struggles in the beginning, the first couple of lessons, was taxiing. It was really difficult for me to use the pedals to steer the plane, but as you can see, there's a bit of an improvement here. I'm working both the throttle with my right hand as well as each individual pedal, the left and right, to keep the airplane centered, making sure not to zigzag. I really encourage you to go back and take a look at those to see the difference on how the plane was zigzagging before and how I'm able to keep a more steady and constant speed. It's really due to Sam and his instruction, and of course myself just picking it up and giving it a little bit more practice. So I want to show these things to you to show you improvement and to show that if you do things with time and with patience, you can get better at them. Before we take off, we go to a section called the run-up, and it's the southeast run-up. And what happens here, we basically push the engine to the max so that we can see whether the performance is there or not, to see if we can safely take off. You'll see a plane that is there already parked and doing their run-up. Of course, I have to make sure not to hit them. I try to make the most coordinated right turn that I can, and then making a left turn. Note that the left pedal just brakes the left wheel and the right pedal brakes the right wheel. And so there is no coordination of the front wheel, it just goes along for the ride. And so it's a little bit different than when you drive your car. So what I have to do here is make a left turn and go right next to that plane on that mark that I will highlight to you. Of course, I didn't get exactly on that mark, but I was proud that I got really close. Of course, didn't hit the plane and pretty much got in the area that I needed to be in. So that was a first, and that was really exciting for me. Let's skip over the whole run-up process. You can see that in previous videos, but I would just want to show you myself taxiing to the runway and of course doing the takeoff. So let me show that to you right now. Please forgive me for the angle of this, guys and gals. I was able to mount it on the plane, but unfortunately there were some issues, of course, as you can see. So I'm sorry that you can't see more of me and what I'm actually doing with the controls. I'll fix that for the next video, but I did want to put this in because it does show great footage of the outside and pretty much what we're looking at. Skipping through all the air traffic controller stuff, here's the takeoff.
Running so fast, can you find me in the dark? Oh baby, close your eyes and listen to the beat of my heart. Take my hand, don't be afraid. A love like ours just can't be tamed. Take my heart, just feel the beat. We'll leave tonight and run free into the
Now this was a big day for me, guys and gals, because what we practiced today are stalls. Basically, you increase the angle of attack on the plane and there's not enough air going above and below the wings, and so the airplane starts to drop. And so the idea is to recover from this stall. We pitch up, you will see the airplane go nose down, and the idea is to recover from it so that we don't fall and of course get in an accident. This is of course part of every pilot's training. It is very safe and it is a very good thing to do. Just in case something happens to the plane, you will know what to do and how to recover. And here you are, you can see the airplane is pitched up, and then finally the airplane drops. We push down to make sure that we continue the airflow and we pick up the airspeed again, and once we continue, we can continue flying. It's a pretty cool maneuver, and we continue doing many of these for roughly 45 minutes. Now it is a bit of a hazy day, but I'm highlighting an area here where you can see low smoke. That is where the fires are currently burning in LA as well as many counties, Ventura County, and so you can see them. After plenty of stall maneuvers were coming in for landing, this is mostly me, and Sam told me his hands were completely off. This is the first time that, look at him, his hands are completely off the stick and pretty much not doing anything. I'm so sorry that you can't see the runway, but let me tell you that I'm going to position the camera better next time. There was a bit of a crosswind, and so you see I'm kind of crabbing in, and he was kind of impressed I was able to do that. And it's very cool. You can see the runway coming up, and I don't know, I was pretty proud of the landing myself. if you think this is all fun and games, guys and gals, I do have to push the plane back myself. The airplane weighs about 1,000 pounds, but then again, it is on wheels, and so there's a bit of a technique. You see there is a swivel nose wheel, and it takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, you can pretty much park it wherever you want. Again, thank you so much, guys and gals, for watching. It does mean so much to me. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up on this video. It really does help me out. Think positively, and most importantly, guys and gals, be hopeful. I'll leave you with some bloopers. So let's take a few I'm actually looking at, so let's take a few of those things. Let's take a look at those.